The world is a mirror. It doesn't show you what you want to see, it reflects back what you are. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change the mirror to fit what they want to see instead of changing themselves. Think about it for a second. Every single morning, when you look in the mirror, you witness the same reflection of yourself stares back at you with the same attributes you had before. It's like sleepwalking into yet another day. Though you can change how you look at yourself in the mirror, but the mirror will always show you the same reality of who you are. Neither will the world show you the same thing. There's an idea that most people hear but never actually internalize. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. We nod at that like it's a nice code for Instagram and go right back to chasing things from a place of emptiness, wondering why love keeps leaving or why success feels like it's allergic to us, and keep ending up in the same situations with different faces attached to them. Those patterns in your life are not random. They're a direct reflection of something unresolved inside you. And that cycle you can't seem to escape isn't the universe being cruel. It's literally a feedback. It's like life is showing you where the work needs to happen, and instead of listening, we start pointing fingers at everything external. I spent a long time trapped in that loop, blaming circumstances, people around me, convinced that the world had some personal grudge against me. And each time a different situations occurred, I happened to face it with the same outcome every single time. And I refused to see the common denominator because accepting my own ignorance was uncomfortable to face. In the end, it was all me, not because I was fundamentally broken, but far from it. It was all due to the version of me that I was operating from could only produce results that matched where I was internally and doing the things based on what I thought was right. Grasp this. Energy isn't some mythical concept reserved for spiritual gurus. It's practical and efficient. A mind consumed by bitterness will interpret everything through a bitter lens and respond accordingly, which then creates more bitterness. An insecure person will unconsciously test every relationship until they push away the very thing they wanted. Someone who hasn't addressed their own chaos will build a life that mirrors their chaos perfectly and then wonder why nothing feels stable. Meanwhile, the people who seem to have it figured out aren't luckier than you. They just did the internal work that you've been avoiding. They sat with the uncomfortable questions, reflecting their own actions. They confronted the parts of themselves that were contributing to the mess. And slowly their external world started rearranging itself because the signal they were putting out changed. Most people thrive and get stuck in a loop where they want the upgrade life without going through the upgrade process. Like skipping it, like life will reward such behavior. They seek respect from others while constantly disrespecting their own boundaries, or loyalty while betraying their own values every chance they get. And the math just doesn't add up. And deep down we know it, but admitting that means taking responsibility, which for most are afraid to address due to its consequences, and that responsibility is heavy. David Goggins once said, "Everything in life is a mind game. Whenever we get swept under by life's drama, large and small, we forget that no matter how bad the pain gets, no matter how harrowing the torture, all bad things end. That forgetting happens the second we give control over our emotions and action to other people, and that can easily happen when the pain is at its peak." Prosperity hits you differently because I realized how much of my identity wasn't even mine. I had built an entire personality around what I thought would make me acceptable, adjusting myself in every room I walked into, saying what people wanted to hear instead of what I actually thought, to the point I was dimming parts of myself so others wouldn't feel threatened or uncomfortable. And then I had the audacity to wonder why I felt empty, confused, when I was performing a role that was never meant for me and attracting an audience that was only there for an act. When you show up as a fake version of yourself, you attract people who connect with what they faced, which is an act. Then, when the real you eventually leaks out, your true colors come back to life. And it always does, and suddenly this connection dissolves because due to the foundation was built on something that wasn't even real. You can't build authentic relationship on a fabricated identity, for the structure will collapse every time. So then start stripping away the performance, piece by piece. Ask yourself hard, deep questions to identify your true identity based on your truth. Like, who am I when nobody's watching? What do I actually believe in versus what have I been told to believe? What standards am I accepting that I know I shouldn't be? And the answers aren't pretty. They expose what the fakeness one has brought upon himself. They force you to sit with a version of yourself that you have been running from. But that confrontation is where everything will start to shift. When you become honest about who you are, the right things start finding you, and everything around you would feel better, not because the universe suddenly decided to be generous and shift to your advantage, but because your signal change. Authenticity has a frequency that attracts alignment. The wrong people fall away naturally, and the ones who resonate with the real you start appearing. It's no secret, but a cause and effect. The question most people ask is, what do I want out of life? But the better question is, who am I becoming right now? What type of pain am I willing to endure? Because that's going to determine what shows up. Discipline attracts opportunity the same way as how self-awareness attracts deeper connection and how honesty attracts trust. Whatever you cultivate internally will eventually manifest externally. I've watched this happen too many times in my own life to call it a coincidence. You've been trying to fix your life from the outside, whether you're implementing a new environment or approaching new people while addressing new plans, which is great. And sometimes that creates temporary relief. But if the core stays untouched, the patterns follow you wherever you go. You can move across the world and still bring the same unresolved version of yourself to every new chapter. Geography doesn't fix identity. Real change starts in front of that mirror, staring at yourself, not physically, but internally, reflecting within. That shows you who you truly are, beneath the performance and the defense mechanism and the stories you've been telling yourself for years. So fix what's being reflected from the inside, and the outside has no choice but to adapt. Marcus Aurelius tells us you have power over your mind, not outside event. Realize this and you will find strength. The world is a mirror. If you don't like what's staring back, don't break the glass. Become someone worth reflecting. For strength is the ability to maintain a hold of oneself.